Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our monthly appreciation and ancestral service. We are here today to express our gratitude to God and Nature Sama for the protection, help, and countless blessings we have received this past month, and to ask permission to serve the divine plan for this coming month. During the service, all prayers and Nature Sama's teachings will be shared in the Zoom chat. You can find this feature at the bottom of your computer screen. If you're using a cell phone or tablet, click on More and then Chat to view the prayers and teaching. Let us begin our monthly service with the presentation of offerings to God. Please pray along silently while we have the opening prayer to God.
Great God of light, with our deepest respect, we have gathered here at the Moroku Association to celebrate our monthly appreciation service combined with our monthly ancestor service. We humbly offer you our prayers of praise and appreciation for the protection, help, and the countless blessings we have received this past month, and to ask for permission, guidance, and inspiration to continue serving in your divine work for the construction of paradise on earth. Please accept the materialization of our gratitude through our in-person and virtual presence, our monetary offerings, and by our guiding relatives and friends. Please give us strength and wisdom to practice this year's directive in our everyday life. Following the example of Meishu Sama's great love and his teachings, let us build a strong faith within ourselves, a sincere service for the salvation of humanity through our basic practices of faith, attending services, giving and receiving jorei, guiding our family and friends, volunteering our time and labor, and providing offerings of gratitude are the essence of our mission in the construction of paradise on earth. May we receive greater light and spiritual strength to realize Meishu-sama's ideals in our hearts, our homes, and our communities, so that we become most effective instruments in bringing your divine light and happiness to everyone around us. Please allow us to spread the desire to create paradise on earth throughout all of North America. May the new age of happiness and everlasting peace, where love, goodwill, and understanding prevail, soon become a reality.
Please join us for the Amatsu Norito Miroku prayer and prayer for ancestors.
Taka amahara ni kamusu marimasu. Kamuromi kamuromi no mikoto mochi desu. Sumeni oya kabui sana no mikoto. Sukushi no himuka no tachi anano. Odo no ahagi hara ni Sogi harai kamo koki ni narimaseru. Harai no kami kachi. Moro moro no maragoto tsumi kekarero. Harai kamai iome kamae to mao sukoto no yoshiro. Amatsu-kami, Unitsu-kami, Aoyorozu no kami tachi tomoni. Ame no Uchikoma no mimi furitatete. Hikoshin seto. Kashikomi mo maosu. Miroku Om Kami Mamori Tamae Saki Hae Tamae Miroku Om Kami Mamori Tamae Saki Hae Tamae Oshie Miyoya Nushi no Kami Mamori Tamae Saki Hae Tamae Oshie miyoya nushi no kami mamori tamae saki hare tamae. Kum nagara tamachi haemase. Kum nagara tamachi haemase. Great God of light, creator and giver of all life, in accordance with your divine will, the long age of night draws to an end. Your radiant divine light, shining ever more brilliantly, awakens the dawn of the glorious age of light, the time long awaited by all humanity. We thank you for guiding us to your divine plan and for the privilege of channeling and receiving your aid. May our spirits and bodies be illuminated and purified as we live your truth given to us by nature's Son. Make us pure and effective instruments of your divine light, so that we may serve you and all those with whom we come in contact. May paradise on earth be realized, with health, peace, and prosperity, a reality in our lives. Great God of light, bless and protect us. Radiate our souls with your divine light, so that we may truly become instruments of your great plan. Prayer for ancestors. Great God of light, bless and protect the souls of our loved ones, whose journey here on earth is over. And as they continue on, great God, encircled in your light, may they be raised to ever finer and higher states of true eternalness. Great God of light, bless and protect us all. Radiate our souls with your divine light, so that we may truly become instruments of your great plan.
Please be seated. We will now receive group jewelry.
God abençoe uma blessing.
Jury is now concluded. Let us listen to Meishu Sama's teaching entitled The Secret of Happiness from Teachings of Meishu Sama, Volume 4.
There are probably very few individuals in society who can be described as actually happy, fortunate people. Most of the people in the world are suffering in some way, from unemployment, sickness, poverty, discord, doubt, and frustration. Experiencing these types of failures is like being shackled in prison. We may ask ourselves why God, rather than changing this world into a place where there is more happiness than misery, creates human beings, yet allows them to suffer. Good and evil have existed since the beginning of the human race. These two forces, completely opposite in nature, have been in constant friction and struggle, and the conflict is still going on. Upon careful consideration, we come to realize it is due to the friction between good and evil that today's civilization has attained its present level of progress. People often ask me, if God is love and mercy, I can't understand why God allows people to do bad things and commit sinful acts, then punishes them if God has not created evil, wouldn't people's judgment and punishment be unnecessary? The logic is quite reasonable, and I myself have sometimes felt the same way. If I were the creator of the world, I could easily give an answer to this question. But since I too am simply one of God's creations, how can I? None of us can know God's true reason. Let us concentrate instead on how we can find the way to happiness and begin to put it into practice. The secret to happiness lies in helping others to become happy. That is all that is necessary for us to do. To put it simply, it is to do as much good as possible, to strive to do good deeds whenever one can. We should all do our best to make others happy. For example, a wife should encourage her husband in his work. A husband should be kind to his wife so she has peace of mind and is happy. It is natural for parents to love their children, but parents should prepare them for adulthood, provide guidance, and be stern when necessary, while respecting their free will. Children should be taught to obey their parents with love and respect, and to do their schoolwork with pleasure. In all areas of our daily lives, we should do our best to give hope to those with whom we come in contact. Our attitude at work, both towards those who have higher positions and those who have lower positions, should be the same. We should work with love and consideration for all. Government leaders should have the welfare of the people, not their own interests, as their first concern, and act as good examples. Of course, to the extent of their ability, all people should try their best to do as much good as they can, using all the wisdom they have. Virtuous actions lead to happiness and good fortune. Once individuals who perform good deeds increase, imagine what will happen to our nation and then to all humanity. As a result, unhappy problems will disappear, and a paradise on earth, free from disease, poverty, and conflict, will become a reality. Everyone will then surely experience boundless happiness. However, the world today is full of people who act negatively, telling lies, taking advantage of others, and always thinking of their own interests. To make matters worse, most people tend to think that this state of negativity is a natural one, and they do not dream of doing something to change it for the better. There are even those who try to hinder our attempts to change this world of suffering into a paradise. Such people become unfortunate through their own choice. We pray for them to be awakened to the truth and saved by God. By reflecting deeply on these teachings, we can see that true happiness and fulfillment is not too difficult to attain.
We would like to invite Laura Elric to read a faith experience for us.
This faith experience is from Magali Torres Espinoza from the Milan Torres Center in Italy. Magali Torres is Peruvian and has lived in Italy for 27 years. She received the sacred focal point Bohikari 3 years ago in Lima and currently gives service at the Torres Center in Milan. For as long as she can remember, Magali has had an eating disorder. But 2 years ago, her symptoms intensified and she began to have complications with swallowing. She could not ingest anything solid, sometimes taking up to 2 hours to be able to eat a single meal because she had a terrible phobia of dying from suffocation. Over time, this situation worsened, and starting in February last year, she began having to process all her food in a blender, diluted with water, in order to be able to eat it. She was confused why this was happening. She felt afraid and ashamed, and also distressed. But at the same time, she started to be curious about what was happening to her. Since she could not understand any rational reason for her predicament, Magali asked her minister for guidance, who advised her to intensify the basic practices of faith, especially the channeling of Jori, the study and practice of God's teachings as revealed to Misha-sama, and the regular ritual of prayer. Because the city Magali lived in had no other members, she channeled Jore to herself diligently before each meal. Gradually, she began to reflect, trying to understand why she was having to go through this situation. She continued to practice the guidance received and gradually felt a little better. The following month, the pandemic hit, and suddenly everyone was in confinement. So whenever she was not feeling well, she would call the minister for help. He always stressed that he believed this purification was related to her ancestors and that she should change her thoughts and feelings toward them, asking them for forgiveness and expressing her feelings of gratitude. Because everyone was at home during the COVID lockdown, she ended up having plenty of time to devote herself to spirituality, and somewhat unexpectedly, memories and reflections about her mother began to emerge. Her mother had had a stroke, and in the last years of her life, she had to be fed through a tube that was inserted into her nose. As Magali thought of her, sad memories returned, such as an episode that occurred one day when it was Magali's turn to feed her. Magali had big plans for the day and needed to go out, so she fed her mother quickly in a careless, unfeeling way. Although she couldn't speak, Magali's mother was conscious, and she must have heard what the family was saying. Today, Magali is sure that on those occasions her mother felt heartbroken and alone. Back in Milan, the days went by, and Magali was surprised to realize that she found herself using the same food supplement her mother had used to counter the effects of lost nutrition. To her shock, she also remembered that in order to feed her mother, she had had to grind the food in a blender in the same way that she had been doing for herself. At that moment, Magali realized that she was experiencing the same purification her mother had. And however, despite all of this, she was still a little skeptical that her mother's purification could have any influence on her own. Since she did not yet have a home altar with Meishu-sama's picture, she would often go to her bedroom to meditate and pray silently during this time. On one occasion, as soon as she finished her prayer, her attention was drawn to a jewelry box where she kept as a souvenir a lock of her mother's hair. She thought of her mother then, and when she turned to leave the bedroom, her vision went straight to her mother's photograph, which was hanging in the next room, and which just so happened to be perfectly framed by the partially opened door, almost as if in a spotlight, drawing her gaze to it. At that very moment, Magali had no more doubts that the spiritual world was communicating with her, and she was deeply moved. She also realized that if she had not received the guidance from the minister, she would not have recognized that the messages from the spiritual realm were meant for her to change. Immediately, Magali asked her mother for forgiveness, and with a heart full of gratitude, she began to pray for her. And after this, she gradually began to improve, but not so much as she had hoped. She felt like something was still missing, but she didn't know what exactly. Things went on like this for a while until one day a new set of symptoms developed. Now, in addition to swallowing problems, she also began to suffer from panic attacks, a galloping heartbeat, and shortness of breath. She was constantly anxious, and in times of crisis, she would call the minister, who would listen to her and calm her. There were times when she had to call him several times a day. Later, she came to understand the origin of this new purification. That very week, 3 of her relatives had died of a heart attack. First her cousin, then her aunt, and finally her uncle. An entire family died in the course of a week, leaving no descendants. She could not imagine the suffering and despair they might have felt in their last moments. She remembered that in life, they had had conflict with her mother, and that they did not have the opportunity to resolve it before her mother's return to the spiritual realm. Then she understood that both the panic attacks and her difficulty in breathing were related to these unhappy ancestors. She spoke about this situation to the minister, who explained to her that although she considered them negative people, maybe she should feel grateful to them, as they had helped to cleanse the spiritual clouds of her family. So he advised her to do Sore Saishi, enshrinement of her ancestors, so that they could receive life, participate in the divine work, and thus purify and elevate themselves in the spiritual realm. He also explained that this was an effective way for her to help her ancestors, and that their happiness would naturally be reflected in her life. After requesting the Sore Saishi of the spirit of her mother and her relatives, Magali gradually realized the spiritual strength we get by participating in this practice. With each passing day, she found she got better, was more confident, and was able to feel gratitude for all of her ancestors. It's been several months since her last panic attack now, and her swallowing has improved to the point that she can practically lead a normal eating life. From time to time, very rarely, the fear of eating returns, but now she manages to control it. She feels this miracle is the result of a change in her feelings toward her ancestors, and that thanks to prayers and the accumulation of good deeds, the ancestors receive the light of God at Meshisama, helping them find peace in the spiritual realm. Currently, she's opened the doors of her home so that it could be a jewelry gathering place, and she's following up and assisting 10 frequent visitors. Once a month, they receive a face-to-face visit from the minister to study the teaching of the month and practice jewelry. And once a week, they meet online to study the teachings as revealed to Meshisama. Magali is very happy to see that little by little, their group steadily grows. Magali has had a great desire to one day be able to open a jewelry center in the city where she lives to better serve in the salvation of as many people as possible. Magali is very thankful to God and Meshisama for the opportunity to grow with her ancestors, for giving us the joy of living and the permission to serve in divine work. She also wants to give special thanks to her mother, who, from the spiritual realm, utilized and guided her to grow in faith, and to her minister, who throughout this difficult period helped her to overcome this purification.
We will now have greetings from Reverend Romilson Cândido.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you very much for attending this monthly appreciation service and ancestral service. And also thank you very much for this beautiful faith testimony that we just heard. Thank you very much. Today we prayed for many ancestors of ours, and especially for all the ancestors of humanity, so that they can continue growing and elevating their condition in the spiritual realm, and they can continue fulfilling their mission. We have many relatives, many friends that lost someone, and we take this opportunity to pray for them, to believe that life goes on in the spiritual realm. And as we pray for those who are in the spiritual realm now, as we pray for them, they become happy, and their happiness will be reflecting on our lives. So I believe, truly believe that. And this faith testimony has everything to do with our ancestors, and has to do with the teachings we just heard today, the secret to happiness. We heard in this experience about Magali, that she, suffering with this purification, could not swallow. She could not swallow, she could not eat. And her mother, who passed away, went through the same purification. So Magali had to go through many processes to understand why she was going through that suffering and how she could change this situation. So first she needed to be aware that there is some spirit connected to her suffering. That was her mother. The same situation she was going through, her mother went through the same. And she remembered how In one time, she treated her mother. She didn't have time to take care of her, and that hurt, that broke her heart, her mother's heart. And then, but she changed. She did prayers for her. She did soreisaishi for her. She started to really devote herself more in this spiritual path, and that changed Magali's life. She even started to do more jore for other people, opening her home for jore, and that also changed. So the secret to happiness in her case was when she transformed from the selfish person to an altruistic person and helping her mother. It was a beautiful faith experience. I believe that this most important thing in this secret to happiness is that we have to begin with gratitude and appreciation for life, for what we are, for what we have. And sometimes we have to begin to listen to other people so that we can learn more and we can understand how people are doing their part in trying to make us happy. And we have to be aware that sometimes we need to be a little bit more, I would say, smart, find ways to help someone. For example, I'll give you an example about my personal life. And this experience I'm going to share with you may cause me be scolded by my wife later. I don't know. For example, when it was a long time ago, we started to go through some financial difficulties, and we had to really be careful taking care of our finances. So when we go food shopping, we had to find the best way to save. So I wouldn't mind to just go for that kind of food or that one. I just wanted something cheap that would be good for our pocket so that we could manage. But there are two things in this situation. You can go for the cheap food and feel bad later, or you can go for a little better food and feel better. And my wife, she's right here, you can check with her. She was always worried about what we put in our body. She always was very worried about that. Always going for the natural and organic and something better. And me too, I enjoy that. But most of people, they tend to check what is more affordable than what is more better for the health. So that happened to me. And then we went shopping, and then she saw, this is organic, this is good, let's buy this. I said, no, but look, that one is cheaper. This is almost double price. No, that was when I learned. She said, I know, this is cheaper, yes, but after you eat, there is no spirit in it. It's not good for your body. And later, maybe you will even feel hungry again, or you feel bad, your body. But this one is more expensive, but maybe just half of what you eat will be better than one full of this one. So I think better to take this one. Then I use my minister's tactics, like knowing the teachings of Meshach Sama. I said, it's okay. We can eat, even this one has lots of chemicals and toxins. That's fine, because our body has the power to eliminate, to purify, and that will be fine. We're gonna be okay. So we can eat that. But then she said, I know that too. Yes, our body can purify, can eliminate all the toxins. You can eat those chickens full of antibiotic, hormones, all those things. Yeah, you can do that, and your body will eliminate, of course. But you are only making your body working more and more and suffer. Yes, it will eliminate, but you're not gaining health. You're not becoming healthy. Whereas if you buy this one, that's more expensive. If you eat just a little bit, because it has more spirit, has more love, have more care, you will feel better. Even if you eat a little bit, you feel full yourself. You feel better. Next day, today, I said, well, but let's buy this one. I insisted. Let's buy this one. So we bought this. And we keep doing this like this. But then, very smart. She was very smart. She said, next month we go shopping. Okay. So we went food shopping. She said, oh, Milson, why don't you, I have a long list. Why don't you stay in the car? I'll go there. And I know it's a lot of work to be, choosing food and stay in the car. So, okay. So I'll call you. So she called me and we went back home and I couldn't see whatever she bought. She bought everything there. Fine. I ate. I didn't know what I was eating, but it was delicious. It was good. Good. I felt good. Following month again. And then you stay in the car. I'll go there and buy the same thing. She bought everything. And we ate. And then one day, I saw, I said, whoa, this is organic. This is organic. And she said, yes, all these months I've been buying this and you've been feeling much better, right? He said, yes, I always admire the food, the quality of the food and how I feel much better. I said, yes, this is why you're feeling better because now you're eating this food. I said, this is great. I agree with you. No, you never agreed with me. But today you understand how much is better to eat. I said, I always understood that you did, but you have to try it. You have to really, every time you have a chance to eat healthy foods, natural foods, even if it's not organic, because sometimes organic is a little bit out of your pocket, but out of your control, you cannot buy. But there are many other more natural foods that you can afford it. So, and that for me was another way of making someone happy, using a way, find a way to make a person happy. Yeah? What do you think? It's good, right?
Yeah.
So I just hope I'm not going to be scolded later because of that. But it's a good story. Anyway, just to go back to the teachings of Meishu Sama, this about the secret of happiness, that Meishu Sama says that it lies in helping others to become happy. Yeah? And this is all it is necessary for us to do, to make someone happy. And that's why when you practice Meishu Sama's teachings and you read them, you begin to understand that making someone happy has everything to do with your aura, about the importance of making your aura larger so that you can attract, you can be more protected. About aura, Meishu Sama says that every human being has an aura which emanates from the spiritual body and radiates through the physical body. So this aura is invisible to the average person. I know some people, they are able to see it, especially when someone is, sitting in front of a white wall. Some people, they can see the aura. It's not difficult, it's not impossible to see it. So everyone has this because the aura is like a whitish, foggy light covering the physical body. And each aura, they differ in size according to the degree of purity of the individual. If you're always doing good things, then your aura always becomes larger and larger, and it influences many things in your life. There is a spiritual reason for people when they escape from an accident. And I think you heard about that. Now, for instance, if the spirit of the vehicle, you driving your car, and when I say the spirit of a vehicle, that means everything, may someone teaches, it has a spirit, has energy. You know that. The chair you're sitting down has an energy, your car, everything, material has some energy, has a spirit in it. So if your vehicle, your car, cannot hit an individual with a wide, large aura, it's because of the power of that person's aura. If a person with a wide aura falls from a high place, from very high places, and that might result in an injury, even though his or her body hits the ground, likely that person will be protected by the aura. Have you heard about story about babies when they fall from the second floor or third floor of a building, and they go check the baby's fine, just crying? It's because of the aura of that baby that hits with the spirit of that soil, of that floor, and that makes it gently land and safely. And also, did you know that buildings, where you live, your house, your home, your house has also aura? That's interesting. The building, they also have auras. And if the head of the family that lives there, that occupies that house, if that owner is a virtuous person, he's a good person, the aura of that house is wide. And also, in the case of fire, the spirit of the flames, the spirit of the flames is less likely to touch the house because of the aura that protects it. So you see that there's no coincidence for some things that we call miracles. I would like to make my life in a way that I can always have miracle every time when I go into situations. And maybe someone explain also another way that miracles happens in our lives, caused by spiritual intervention. That's interesting for you to also hear that. A human being has three spirits. And most of you members know the three spirits. May someone refer this to the primary spirit, the secondary spirit, and the guardian spirit. The primary spirit is this soul, is the soul that comes from God. It's a part of God that we all have. Everyone. It could be the most criminal, bad person in the world. It has this primary spirit. The secondary spirit we all have, which is that spirit that takes care of our physical condition, our physical needs. That's the secondary spirit. It has a tendency to be more selfish and go for material desires. That's the secondary spirit. And also we have the guardian spirit that gives special help to the individual in its charge. So perhaps even sending information to him or her in a dream of something important happening in the future. Did you know that many times you are dreaming and you receive lots of information from your spirit, from your guardian spirit? They tell you, through dream, they say, you don't go there, don't do this, don't date that guy, don't do this, don't see that person, don't go to that job. It happens, all those things. It is true. It gives special help. Sometimes for an individual who has special mission, one of the divine spirit, now I'm not talking about the guardian spirit, divine spirit, divine. One of the divine spirit, they extend help in place of the guardian spirit. They take over. When a person has a very important mission, doing very special work, this divine spirit becomes to help. For instance, if a person is riding on a train, yeah, that is about to collide with another train. Yeah. This divine spirit may protect him or her by causing both trains to stop. Yeah. This is a miracle. How come? It's the work of this divine spirit, that's divine intervention. It prevents the crash. Even at the last moment, a divine spirit knows everything. Wherever it might be, even thousands of miles away, it can reach a spot instantaneously. Those spirits, they can be right there and save a person in danger. So, as you see, miracle of either kind does not take place by coincidence. So there's no coincidence in miracles. And miracles are not something unusual or strange. At least to Meisama, when Meisama says, I don't know if you heard about it, Meisama says, since I started on this spiritual path, miracles have become normal events to me. So I feel peculiar when I'm not experiencing any. For instance, once in a while I face difficult problem, and then I say to myself, it's time for a miracle to happen. And wait. Gosh, can you imagine if you can do that? Well, I mean, and of course, actually, I do that as much as I can all the time. When I'm in a situation difficult, I go, Sama, come on, work something out for me now. I need some miracle right now. Right now. I don't know how, but I need a miracle. He says, when I'm facing with a problem, I say, it's time for a miracle to happen, and wait. I am soon blessed with that. That's my sermon. I am soon blessed with that miracle, and I saw the problem is solved. And this often happened to me. Now, the teaching today is the secret to happiness, and I want to have this happiness in my life. So I need miracles all the time. I need to be protected. I need to be part of something important. So that's what Meisama says. Those of you who have deep faith and spiritual understanding, and who have done a lot of good for others, often had similar experience that I have. That means secret to happiness. Yeah? So if we want to grow to that level, we need to have deep faith, spiritual understanding, by doing good for others. That's what we need to do. Also, when someone says, if we think good thoughts, good deeds, perform good deeds, and if we live virtuously and constantly make effort to remove our spiritual clouds, so our auras will expand, we should not be concerned about accidents or other misfortunes. That's another point that someone says, how you can change everything. You have good thoughts, good deeds, be virtuous. Also trying to remove the spiritual clouds we have. That's another secret to happiness. How we can do to get to that level. Now, always to have good thoughts is very important. It means to always think positive, always to focus on what you want to do, which is good. Then that's why someone says that those who have wider auras give a warm feeling and to all those who come in contact with them. Yeah? Sometimes you want to be successful and you don't know what you do. Well, wake up in the morning, look at the mirror and smile and say, I'm happy today, I'm doing a lot of good things. And then you go. Yeah? But be happy and positive. This is something that we need to practice as much as we can. So that's why when you come in contact with those people with good auras, you feel attracted to them. So naturally, many people gather around people with a great aura. And the work is smooth and they make constant progress. And I know you all know this, but there are many people, they don't know this. So that's why we need to continue doing our part to have people understanding if they really want to change their lives, they need to do the best they can. So that's why maybe someone says some points that we heard today, that we need to practice. A wife should encourage her husband in his work. A husband should be kind to his wife so that she has peace of mind. So we need to give peace of mind to everyone. Natural for parents to love their children, but parents should prepare them for adulthood, provide them guidance. We need to give guidance to the children and be stern, be firm, be strict with the children when necessary, and also respecting their free will. We cannot do too much, otherwise they're going to say, "Wow, this is my space." Children, they have that thing. Well, when I was raising up, I couldn't say those. It's my space, my father. No, there is no your space. This is my space. But we need to be, you understand that they have also free will, but children should be taught to obey their parents with love and respect, and to do their homework with pleasure. I don't know if sometimes they can do it. Sometimes they can do with pleasure, but they have to do it with pleasure. So in all areas of daily lives, the government, they should, have the welfare of other people, not their own interest. Concern about people. So, and as we make our position, when you vote, when you do your part, things begin to change. So the point is, we need to do as much good as possible so that we can change everything and we can become someone that really can be happy. And our ancestors, when they see you and I happy, they also become happy. So that's why if you really want to make your ancestor happy today on this ancestral service, be happy yourself. Find a way to be happy yourself so that they will be happy. It's like the same as you are happy when you see your brother happy and your parents, and your own child happy. So I'd like to thank you all very much for today's service. I wish you all the best so that we can continue growing a lot and build prototypes of paradise on earth. This is what we are going to do with gratitude and preparing for Major Summer's birthday. Thank you all very much. Looking forward to give you joy after this service. Thank you very much. Thank you.
This concludes our service today. Thank you very much for joining us. We wish you a very blessed day.
Michael, thank you very much.
Thank you, Corey. Thank you, Noel, Adriana, Dave, Vivian, Help, Patricia. Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining us today.
Bye.
Thank you, people, for the beautiful service. It was amazing. See you all.
Michael.
Mommy, what's that? That's Mommy, what's this?
It was a good story. I don't think I would be too long, but next time I'll Yeah. Her name? Melida? Stepfather, stepmom.
Him?
Yeah.
Here.
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to have to
I don't know if it's loud enough. I tell them that I'm here on the Zoom,
I never know what to
Oh, okay. Sorry. That's all good, thank you.
Well, thank you.